Welcome to another episode of What Would You Do If You Were the IT Administrator? This particular episode is going to focus on a power outage. Now, I've been a part of many power outages over my career. You never know when they're going to happen, although there are some times when the power company does give you a little bit of advance notice, but for the most part, it's a surprise pretty much every single time. And there are certain steps that you need to do, and there's some things you don't want to do. And of course, the things you do want to do have to be done in a specific order. And we're going to go through what that order is and some things to avoid as well. So let's take a look at our scenario. So let's say you're the IT administrator and the power goes out. You have many PCs and servers, and the servers are on battery backup. What would you do and in what order? And what would you not do? So let's pretend you're at a fairly large company. There's hundreds, if not over 1,000 PCs, and there's a server room full of servers, and you need to decide what comes first and what goes on after that. So let's look at our different options. Now you see here a list of different things that are completely out of order. Most of them are the right things to do. There's one thing that you shouldn't do, and the rest of them are all jumbled up. So let's take a look at them. The first option is to bring servers and equipment up when power is restored. That's obviously not the first thing. Meet with department heads to discuss the situation. Document the incident and resolution. Have staff leave equipment plugged in until power is on. Go to the server room and gracefully shut down the equipment. Call the power company to see when it will be restored. Create a group to stay on watch if the outage is going to be extended, and have the department heads inform staff of severity. So I suggest you pause the video right now, write down what you would do in what order, which step you would leave out as well, and then when you come back, start the video again, and I'll go through the various different options and their proper order. Okay, we're back. Let's take a look and see what we would do and in what order. Let's start with, we're going to go to the server room, and we're going to gracefully shut down our equipment. So the reason for that is because we want to make sure that we shut it down before the UPS battery backups run out of power. We don't want that to happen because that will be a hard shutdown. Now, if you've automatically set your servers to shut down once they detect battery power, then just go and confirm that everything is the way it is. The second thing we want to do is we want to call the power company. Call the power company to see when the power is going to be restored. So why don't we do the first thing to go talk to the department heads and ask them what they want? Well, because in this particular case, you don't need to inform them that the power's out. It's dark in there. They all know the power's out. The second thing is you need to call the power company to find out the severity. Because if you go meet with the department heads and you have nothing to inform them of, then they won't be very happy about that either. They want to know when the power's going to be back up. So the next thing we want to do is have meet with the department heads to discuss the situation. So we're going to meet with them. That's number 3. And now we have something to tell them other than the obvious that power is out. And of course, the second thing is how much of a severity this is going to be, and that the servers are all gracefully shut down, so they have nothing to worry about there. The next thing we want to do is to have the department heads tell their staff what's going on and to unplug their computers and monitors. So we do this because it's much faster for the department heads to go around and tell everybody than it is for us. So let's go ahead and make that one number 4. So they're going to go ahead and unplug all of their equipment, so that way when that power comes back on, the surge doesn't blow out any power supplies or motherboards. The next thing we want to do is to create a group to stay on watch if the outage is extended. So this is a kind of a controversial topic, because if your business is in a neighborhood that could be looted, then it may not be safe unless you have armed security to take care of that particular location. So it really is going to depend on how safe you can make your employees to decide whether or not you want to keep a watch group on site. Otherwise, you just lock the doors, padlock them, and then come back when the power is back on. So that might change based on various different types of businesses. All right, let's say that the power is back on. Now we're going to bring the servers and equipment back up again because we want to get back in business. All right, so that's number 6. Power is back on. Next thing we want to do is to document the incident and the resolution. So in this case, the power came back on as the resolution. However, you might find that some of the steps that you went through might have had some bumps in the road, and you may want to document that information so next time you have a power outage, things go much more smoothly. And the thing you don't want to do is have the staff leave their equipment plugged in until the power is on. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, if you leave equipment plugged in, you have that power surge, and you could definitely cause some outages of the PCs and their delicate components. So based on my experience over the years, the many different power outages I've had to go through, these are the steps that I would do in those particular orders. In most cases, there may be some times where it doesn't make sense to do some of these things, but for the most part, this is a pretty good idea of how you should do this, and of course, the one thing that you shouldn't. So I hope you'll join us again for another What Would You Do If You Were the IT Administrator?